Hi everyone and welcome to this week's premiere episode as we return to Argo 37 with Argo 37 and beyond. I'll be handing over to Alice shortly, but before I do, please check out the opening links, which includes all the places you can find us and interact with us and our community online. Also places you can find our sponsors, Burden the Storm Publishing and Magehand Press, who created the Dark Matter expansion that we are playing today. Also, during the night, we hit 3k followers on Twitch, so thank you everyone for the support. What a milestone. Alice, may I hand over to you so you can introduce everyone? My voice is going crazy.
Stop shouting, you're going to make it worse. But yes, we will start with the lovely V, the crafting muse. Oh, hi.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, I am thrilled to bits to be back in Argo, and I cannot wait to start playing Lieutenant Commander Elara Gibbous again. She is our half-orcish barbarian, and oh my gosh, this is just, I have been waiting so much for today, and I can't wait to get going.
Perfect, thank you. And then we're going to hop down and say hi to Crusade Warlords. Oh, hi.
Hello, hey, so thanks for having me. I'll be joining in. I'll be playing Vega Reigns, call sign Alpha 88, and just very excited to be here. Appreciate the invite, and that's it.
Awesome, thank you. Then we're going to hop over and say hi to GoJG or Jess. Oh, hi.
Hi, I'm Jess. So excited to be here. Going back into space. I'm Andii today, so thanks for having me back. Yay!
Awesome, perfect, thank you. And last but certainly not least, our Chaos Disaster Child, Scrat.
Hi, today I'll be reprising the role of Blister. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. Haven't played Blister for a while. I'm sure the chaos will be fantastic.
I love it already. Okay, perfect. So, the year is 1969. Man has just landed on the moon. Elvis is finally breaking his way into the UK and rocking people's socks off, and the Beatles are making their world debut, and basically some of the biggest celebrities in the world right now. However, we are going to pan over to an office where you can hear music playing, which is the Beatles, just sort of that on that tinny sort of radio as it comes through, at an office covered in filing cabinets, and all of these walls are covered in bookshelves, packed with bookcases, and a lot of photos and picture frames of very professional, very important people shaking hands of other very important people, very professional looking people. And we're in the office of Corporal Wilkins in Area 51. And in Area 51 stands Vega Reigns in this office by the desk. And Corporal Wilkins, who you have known now ever since you came to Area 51, sits the other side of this desk, as he always does, sort of very short, very almost buzz cut hair, and that bristly sort of chin as he sits in his uniform. Is it? Right. Yes, so we've got another one of the aircrafts for you to test. How do you feel about this? This is not quite like the last one. This is, well, we're not sure, to be honest. But you can figure it out. That's what you're good at, right? And could you give a bit of a description of Vega as he stands here in this office?
So Vega's wearing just looks like khaki flight pants. He has some sort of modified harness, which looks like it could be some sort of armor, couldn't be. Various patches throughout it all over his vest, little patches that he's accumulated from time to time. He's got a little shawl that he wears up, almost like a half hood. And he's got this very weird, primitive looking leather gauntlet that's on his right hand. And other than that, he's whatever good looking is for Charisma 16, I guess. That's
perfect.
That good looking.
The Corporal Wilkins stands up, hands behind his back, and he sort of comes close towards you, not in your personal space, But he stands a little bit shorter than you as he sort of has to look up to you, and he's like, "You're the best we've had so far, at least. And yes, would you follow me and I'll show you to the aircraft?" And he starts to walk out in these heavy boots of this office.
All right, I'll follow him, and as I'm following, has anyone else tested these yet? Is there any intel on them at all?
No, there is nothing at all on this. This actually came, and you can see him pause, sort of looking up and down. No one else has tested this yet. That's why you are here. It's what you do. And he gives you this really weird smile, which you know is forced because this guy doesn't smile a lot. In fact, his permanent is just a frown. He's like, "We're not too sure on the race or the intelligence of the aliens that possessed the ship originally, but George McElroy, which you know is one of the scientists, the lead scientist here, says, well, he recommended you. And you flew the last few airships pretty damn well, if I remember reading your records." And he starts, you're walking down this corridor and you can see lots and lots of doors and offices and things like that going on. And it's quite busy. People are walking up and down these corridors. You can see labs on sides which say "do not enter." And at every single door is like a panel where it reads fingerprints and scans your irises. And you know that is how you enter the doors. And you yourself have a special key card which you have been gifted by the lead scientist George McElroy, who which allows you into the aircraft hangars. And you walk down here, and he sort of seems to be chattering away, but could you roll me a perception check, please?
Perception check. How come I don't see that here? Oh, there it is.
You got it? 8. Okay. You are very focused on everything going on around you. And you notice the scientists walking up and down, lots of army men. There are these red lights that haven't been set off or anything, but almost like alerts that you know have gone off a few times, where you're not too sure why, but you've heard word of something escaping. And you walk down this corridor, and there's a split second where you think you see something at the corner of your eye, something colourful, something tiny that whirs and beeps and races off in a different direction as this corporal, marching very upright, very straight up and down, keeps going.
Does he make any notice of the thing that ran out?
He doesn't seem to have seen it. You see he's very much it's like he's got blinkers on. He's looking at the door he's taking you to, and that is all he's doing.
How far away was the thing I thought I saw?
It literally went past you. It whizzed past almost in a flash of colourful blur. It came from in front of him, straight along the corridor, and you're pretty sure actually it wasn't moving along the floor at all. It was moving up the wall and down again.
All right, so if he's so focused and he's walking forward, I'm going to kind of march my feet and then kind of stop slowly and we'll try to check it out real quick.
Okay, can you roll me another perception check, please?
Sure.
Thank you very much for the sub, the Maharishi. You have an advantage to give to a player or DM of your choice. Please let us know who in chat. And I'm sorry to hear you have a meeting soon.
On a 20, Vega, you stop your heavy boots and you sort of turn round and look back down this corridor. And there's quite a few people moving in and out of this corridor. It's almost quite crowded. You know, it's early morning, it's the beginning of the day, people are coming in and out. And you see a tiny little, I guess, robot on wheels, one wheel even, one big wheel. It's only about this big. It's teeny tiny. It's very colorful, and it seems to be built up and made up of just random parts, lots of little parts. And you can hear it beeping and squeaking and sort of clanking around as it moves. You see as it whizzes past on a 20, you see another and another and another, and now there's 4. All at different sort of spaces. There's 2 in this corridor. They all look slightly different. Some of them have legs, some of them have arms that are sort of dragging along the floor because they look awkwardly built. And there is one hanging from the ceiling, currently trying to pull the plastic case off of one of the lights on the ceiling, and the 2 that are down below along the floor, you see them whiz past. One of the someone who you know as Sarah Carter, a professor, just grabs hold of her shoelace and keeps pulling until it's undone, and then lets go and whizzes off down that corridor. And no one seems to notice.
Are they mechanical, electric?
Very mechanical, but they've got big glass eyes that sort of shine bright blue. So you know there's some sort of electrical thing going on in them, but they look very clunky and mechanical.
Can I try to get a read on one with that interface I can do from 30 feet away with that gauntlet I get?
Yeah.
I'll try to get a read on one if I can.
Okay, roll another perception just to see how much you get from it. Okay, you read these and they seem to be almost like tiny little robots. They definitely have an electrical system within them. You sort of see from this as it reads, it comes up with a little scan and shows like a picture of one of these robots with its arms out, and it spins it round almost like an X-ray form to show you the insides of it. And you can see it's powered by, it's sort of built with electricity and it's built mechanically, but there's something else charging it. Something that can't be fully, I don't know what my cat's doing in the background, I'm sorry. And something that is
That's
charging.
The robot hiding from it.
Is the robot she gets under. And as it sort of whirs and chitters, as you scan it, the one on the ceiling stops, turns around and looks at you and sort of cocks its head to the side and starts to wheel itself along the ceiling towards you.
Can I grab it as soon as it comes close?
Can you make me a sleight of hand check, please?
Sure.
Also, this corporal has kept walking. He's so focused and talking to you about this aircraft that he hasn't noticed that you've stopped. Yeah, okay, on a 19, you see it starts to lower itself on this cord, almost have a look at you, and as it does, you can swipe at it and grab it. As you do, you can see 2 of its hands are almost like pincers, metal, like almost as if a spanner had been given like a little sort of a section, and it starts whirring and beeping and just starts like, it doesn't hurt at all. This thing is so tiny, but it starts thumping the side of your fist and just like shaking and like starts pulling at your wristband or anything that you've got. It is just trying to shake itself off. But also you notice it's not trying to shake itself off to get away from you. It's trying to destroy your wristband. It doesn't seem too bothered that you have got it.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw it down the hallway.
Yeah. You can throw it down the hallway. You launch it and it sort of sails above some of the other people in the corridor. You can hear ow at the back as like there's someone sort of quickly looks around and you see these other little robots swarm towards it. And the corporal looks back. Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. Let's keep going. And as he turns around, is there a intercom system I can hack into while walking?
There is, as you get to the door, as you get to the next door, you can see that there is an intercom.
Okay.
So because this is a pretty good intercom. Can you roll me a sleight of hand check to see what you're trying to do to this intercom?
I'm going to try to activate it from my wrist
Mm-hmm.
and just say there's a security breach on level 4, a bunch of small mischief robots causing problems.
Okay.
I'm going to do it over the entire base.
Okay, perfect. You roll a sleight of hand for me, please.
Oh.
It doesn't get through the entire base. You can get it all on this level. And as you sort of hack through it and you send this generic voice that comes on the intercom that is used for this is alarm, alarm. We have an escapee on level 6, and there is like those little red lights on the ceiling start going off, and one of the wizmos that was on the ceiling is now chasing the light around as it is going. It doesn't seem too bothered that there's now something going on. If anything, it's fascinated by the lights. And the corporal looks down the hallway as not many people react. It's like, oh, not again. And walks through, and you see him press his fingertips onto this sort of like a keypad on the side of the door, scans his irises, and then looks to you to swipe your card.
I'm going to give one more peek behind. If they're just still chasing lights. They just look
there's like they're chasing lights. You can see one of them is currently tying someone else's shoelaces together, and the one that you threw is like waving at you from the other end of the corridor.
I'm going to wave back.
Yeah.
I'll swipe the card.
Yeah. You swipe the card, and the door opens, and you enter this sort of this chamber. As you have as it opens, you stand in. You've been in hundreds of these as they effectively disinfect you as you walk through this tiny little grated corridor, and all of these sprays come onto you and disinfect you as the next door opens. And you walk into a huge aircraft hangar with this ship that is, it looks very much, it's almost like a silver disc but more pointed at one end, with two huge smooth silvery engines on the side of it, with two large points out the front which you can see are glowing as scientists are tweaking at it. There's ladders. This thing is huge. There's these ladders go all the way up. You see these scientists moving about, and that is where we'll leave you for a moment. And we're going to hop over to Andii. Andii, could you describe what you look like for me, as you are in Area 51?
Andii is little, as she is a gnome. She always has her hair either in like pigtails or buns or like something like out of the way. She is probably currently like in a lab coat that's covering up all the gadgets and things that she always has on her person. She's probably trying to act all like cool and like she's supposed to be here, but she probably also like, if she like looks up and sees anyone, she probably also like trips a little bit. And but yeah.
Yeah, you could be strolling through, but you've sort of walking through some of these corridors, and you've been here for a few days now. Weirdly, some people don't seem to have actually noticed you coming in. You could have easily, if anything, people seem to think they know you, and you're not too sure why. But you have tracked the signal to Argo 37 here, the ship that you were once on. And you've got this little like device which is showing you the signals of Argo and anything that's ever been on Argo to show you where it is. And for some reason there seems to be around, every now and then it varies, between 12 to 26 little signals spread out throughout Area 51. And you've been trying to find them as you track them down. And in Area 51, there has been this weird, it's just weird things going on. It's almost like it's very, very normal, but every now and then you see an amoeboid sort of stroll past in their own lab coat as it sort of moves along and it's chatting to one of the army officers. Going in and out of some of the labs, you see other sort of alien type creatures that are almost like consultants at this place rather than captors. You do see some almost experiment-like, small sort of research things. You see rooms with people and aliens being questioned within the rooms, but it all seems pretty friendly. You've also seen a lot of children here being taught things, and there is a group, about 4 or 5 children, that seem to almost be being ferried around by one scientist, almost like a teacher. Each one of these children have a crystal at the center of their foreheads as they walk and walk down these corridors, and you've seen them in these sort of classroom spaces throughout the few days that you've been here. And can you roll me a perception check, please?
Yes.
Okay. So you have been you've been tracking these things for ages, and you know what you're looking for now. All these little dots, you know what a wizmo is. You've seen these little fey creatures of chaos before, and you can see this one wizmo race down one of the corridors in front of you that is it sort of stops, it turns, and it looks at you. And you recognize this one. You have seen this one on Argo before. It panics and it sprints off in the other direction, and you see another one, a much longer one, sort of almost move like a centipede, like do that, like as it's going after this new one, which you've not seen before. But it's carrying some small electrical equipment, which you're pretty sure doesn't belong to it, as it moves down this corridor. As you see 3 more with pick up the other one and keep going, and you can hear shouts of annoyance from somewhere.
I think Andi's definitely torn between wanting to chase the one that she already knows and this new interesting one that she's never seen before, and she's just like, "Oh, hey, you get back here! What? And I think she's gonna chase after the one she knows.
Yeah,
she
you
didn't
can
find Argo before because she's still trying to find Argo.
Yeah. You can follow this one, and it goes down a corridor, a much quieter corridor. You can see some of these doors have the black and yellow sort of striped signs, sort of almost labels across it saying "Do not enter." There are fewer scientists down in this area, and you see a set of stairs that go down. And you know very well that this isn't really a section is as freely accessible to everyone here, but you do see this wizmo race down there.
Andi will look around and then just probably actually whistle, pretending to be innocent, and then head down make herself small and sort of head down the stairs.
Could you roll me a stealth check, please?
Oh, no. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you managed to sort of Mission Impossible style this as you sort of flatten yourself against the wall and start to shuffle down these stairs. And as you do, you head down these stairs, and it gets not dark, but darker. The lights aren't quite as filling into these corridors as you head into this point of Area 51. And there are maybe a few more doors, and in each one you can see "Do not enter." You can see big sort of glass panels on them, and they say "Test subjects" and "Research" all the way down this corridor. And you see this wizmo racing down the other end of this corridor as it goes Do you continue to follow it, or do you go in one of the rooms?
Can I see into any of the rooms? Can I see? Is there like
how tall?
Is there like a clipboard? Oh gosh. Shorter than 4 feet, I think. Like somewhere between 3 and 4. 3 and a half.
Unless you make an actual climb for the door handle to stand on the door handle, you're not going to be able to see into this room.
Is there like a clipboard of information or anything like that on the outside?
You can see panels where, again, you know that they read irises and they scan fingertips. Otherwise, there is no clipboard of fun.
Andie like looks at the wizmo and looks back at the door, and I'm just gonna like open the door and like peek inside.
Okay. You open the door very, very slowly, and it creaks just a little bit. And as you poke your head in, I need you to make another stealth check for me.
Oof.
Okay, yeah, like in your tiny little gnome form, you manage to sort of look in. You can almost half slide in as this. You see a couple of scientists in this room working away at one of the benches. You can hear a bubble of the concoctions of all of these different sort of liquids in these test tubes and sort of beakers, all these bright different colors, some glowing, some smoking, and huge tubes that reach from floor to ceiling with these strange creatures in them. They seem to be asleep, and they seem to be fully wired up to this machine. They're almost humanoid in form, but very sort of withered and sort of sunken in faces and cheeks and arms, and they have a very grayish skin about them. They have no hair on their body at all, and these very long fingers as they sort of hover in this gel water. You can see the bubbles erupting from their mouths from all of these different tubes, and they seem to be asleep. All of their eyes are closed. They don't seem to be in any pain, and they look very dry for the fact that they are in water.
And the scientists in the room are sort of towards the back of the room, and they haven't noticed me yet.
They have not noticed you at all. They don't seem to have noticed you on that stealth roll, and they seem to be having a conversation with each other. You can see that they have got their own clipboards, fun, and they are sat there reading it. Some of them go over to some of the tubes further back with these big panels of numbers on, and checking and maybe reading signs and making notes on the clipboards.
Can I like get closer to these things? Like, I've never seen a creature like this before, right?
You've never seen something like this before.
Well, then that's interesting, and I want to know more about it.
Can you make me another stealth check, please?
There it is. I knew it was good.
I won't know that's sleight of hand, don't worry.
Oh!
Yep.
I feel bad. I feel that I used up the bad roll.
You can sort of slide into this lab and close the door. There is a slight click which makes them turn and look, but you have already moved to behind some of these huge tubes to the ceilings, and they sort of look and go, shrug. Wait, what are you looking for when you approach these creatures?
I'm just so curious that this is a creature I haven't seen before, and I'm just like looking to see sort of like how it might exist differently. Like, is it a carbon-based life form? It seems humanoid, but like, what are these long fingers for? And like, oh, like this is interesting.
It does look very humanoid. It has 2 legs, 2 arms. It has a very similar sort of body shape. However, you look at the fingers, and they are about 10 to 12 inches longer than a normal human finger.
Why would they need that, though?
And you can see on their feet, they have almost claw-like feet. Again, hovering in this sort of this mass. And again, very much asleep. And I need you to make another perception check for me, please. Nat 20! Yes, okay. So you are getting very close. You sort of put your hands up against the glass of this thing as you're looking up. You can see it sort of bobbing up and down in this liquid. These scientists have not seen you at all. And you can see the fingers of this creature hanging in these very long arms. Like the upper arms seem to be much longer than, again, an average human as it bobs here. And on a nat 20, you swear you can see its eyes moving underneath those lids as the eyelids start to peel open and they look directly at you.
Hi. Shh. I'm not here. How are you in there?
And it watches you. There is no expression on its face. If anything, its jaw is just slightly longer here, very sort of square, as it looks down at you with these wires off of it. I need you to make another perception check for me, please.
There it is.
Okay. You don't hear or see this coming.
Mm-hmm.
But as you are sort of mesmerized by these eyes, you look at these eyes and they start to swirl and glow. And from behind you, a hand comes over your mouth and someone grabs you. And now we're going to hop over to Blister and Elara, because we are in where are we? Let's start. Blister, where are you in this house that you have currently been living in for the last 10 years or so?
What time of day is it?
It's sort of coming up to just after lunchtime, mid-afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be coming home. Today was supposed to be the first day of another new job. Hello, Laura!
You're home already?
Yeah.
She'll have like a dish in hand with like a sandwich and some like cut up vegetables and just sort of turn around on the countertop and place it in front. So what happened this time?
Consequences. No, that's not the word. It's a different word than that. Not consequences. The other one. Begins with a C and ends in denses. Coincidences. Nothing to do with me.
Oh, it never does. What coincidences were those this time?
Fire procedure.
Was there fire and then procedure that needed to be followed because of fire, or you were learning about fire procedure?
Both.
Don't say both. All right, so I guess we'll try again tomorrow.
Well, I've actually got that gig tonight. The open mic. This time I hear there's a talent scout in the area, so it could be the big shot.
Right. Great. Well, let's see how it goes, and I'll just keep going and doing my job too. Luckily, I had today off, so we could talk.
Honestly, it's bad luck. I'm glad it's just staying to me, and not affecting yours as well, because don't know what it is.
Oh, no idea whatsoever. None.
Oh, where are the wizmos?
I thought they went with you.
I haven't seen them.
Did you check for them this morning? At all?
I woke up. I had a beer.
No, you had whiskey.
I remembered that. No, I didn't check for him.
At this point, you do see one wizmo. They have a toilet roll, and they're just running past the front room that you are now in, and streaming it through the corridor and up the stairs. It's just one.
All right, well,
There's one at least.
yeah, check one. It's just so much easier when Telemachus was doing this. She'll go and she'll like pull out the little chart thing. One down. 24 to go.
Is that how many there are?
I think half the time it almost seems like they duplicate themselves on purpose and then go back to being just one again. What do you say? Should we go around and start checking?
Sure. Yeah. Should I just do a shout out for them?
Try that first. They usually listen to you better.
I conjure the magic mic.
Oh no!
Nearby radio stations go slightly deaf for a second. wizmos!
And
I would've put my
throughout,
hand
like, there's these, like, 5 to 6 mile radius, there is, like, you can hear dogs howling in the neighborhood as this screech goes through every radio, and you can hear a lot of kerfuffle coming from the neighborhood as this is loud. You can actually hear yourself from your neighbors' yards, especially Pete, who works in the yard next door, and he's always digging up his flatbed with the radio outside. So you definitely hear him fall over and that clang of the spade as it falls over and knocks the radio over. This is not the first time it's happened. But as you do this, one wizmo, a little red and yellow one, covered, almost mummified in this toilet roll. There is now no roll with it. Wheels up, salutes to you, and stays in front of your 2 feet.
Great, I'll pick that one up and put it on my shoulder. That's one.
It holds onto like your cap very, very tightly.
Blister Dear, that's one.
It's
Which
progress.
Yes, but if they're not here, dear, they are somewhere else.
Aye.
Which means we need to go get them before they cause any trouble, because... And she'll point to the toilet paper wrapped one, because this is an easy day.
That's true, yeah. Toilet paper's an easy problem to solve.
Mm.
Perhaps we could just put out some like oil and nuts and bolts on the doorstep and hope they just come back tonight.
They're not chipmunks.
No, you're right. You're right.
Look, we have the afternoon off. Let's see if we can track them down. Start collecting them, get them back before you have your open mic night, and try and corral them better next time.
Hang on, yeah, before we go out, let me just change the answering machine message.
As you do this, a screen comes down, and the hovering face of the Argo 37 intelligence bot sits there. What?
Yeah, Argo, if anyone calls, Blister never lived here. Don't know anyone by the name of Blister. Mr. and Mrs. Loringdale probably lived here, and they're very old, and they can't come to the phone right now.
So you're telling me you want to keep the same answer machine message that you left yesterday?
No changes, Argo. No changes. Have a good one.
I don't know if this is going to be of any importance or not, but I've been doing some readings and stuff like that because, you know, apparently that's my job. But there is only one wizmo in the house, and I watched them disable the backdoor security, the 3 panels of it, about 2 days ago.
Well, that's good to know. That's good to know, isn't it, Elara?
That's wonderful. That's just fantastic.
So we done?
For now, yes.
Oh, God, yeah, because I do everything around here, and the screen goes back up into the ceiling.
First thing, I don't want to know what you set on fire today. Second
Okay.
thing, we need to find them.
Yes. Yes, we do.
And you have trackers for the wizmos. This is the other thing. It's not something you pull out often. As Telemachus was growing up, she was the one who tended to keep track of them. But since she graduated and left on her own sort of mission, she did create a tracking system for you to check. But you haven't had to do it in a while because they tend to adore Blister. They tend to focus on Blister, especially now that Telemachus is gone.
All right, well, let's get out the helpful little friend of ours. And she'll turn, and there's going to be like a cabinet right near the back door, and in the drawer is this device, and pulling it out and getting it ready and handing part of it over to Blister. At least it's been a while, and hopefully we find them quickly.
Are we walking or driving?
If it's been 2 days, we might want to be driving.
All right.
And as you do, you see this screen that you pull out. 2 long, almost bird-like feet grow out of it as it stands up on the counter and looks at you. And you can see these little specks of these little red dots that are wizmos. And you see them on this huge map of America. There seems to be one in Hawaii for some reason, but the rest of them are definitely focused all around what you know to be Area 51.
Oh, things just got interesting, didn't they?
And this weird little bird screen robot actually squawks and then looks to you as just like,
It is advised that if you take the car, you will be there in a very short amount of time. Telemachus set the car up just for a situation such as this.
I mean,
Excellent.
Don't get me wrong. We could take the car. But I also bought a new scooter.
No.
It's from Italy.
I don't care if it's a moped.
It's
or
really loud.
Yes, but if Telemachus got the car set up for us, there's a reason. I'll drive.
I could drive.
No, I'll drive.
All right.
and as you say this, you can hear Argo's voice overhead, like, oh, all right then. And one of the kitchen doors sort of slide open, like one of the kitchen cabinets, to a garage that goes down 2 flights of stairs because you don't want people to know you've got this car. And you can head down into this garage and you can see Blister's little Vespa, the scooter at the side, covered in mirrors, absolutely covered in mirrors. And,
some of which aren't broken.
and it says the Beatles across the side of it. And next to it is a Ford Falcon car, which is definitely part of the 60s, but you know this is not going to be a car that is normal.
All right, you keep track of them. I'll drive. And we'll go from there.
Sure
Yes.
thing. Are we going to Area 51 first or Hawaii? I always fancied a bit of surfing.
51 first, we'll plan a vacation later.
Yes.
Okay. You can slide into this seat. And you both get into the seats. And as you do so, these 2 seatbelts almost automatically sort of strap you in and come around the side and lock you in place. And as this happens, the car sort of bursts into life. The lights come on, the garage door starts to open, and this shouldn't make sense because this song hasn't come out yet. But Bad to the Bone starts playing because it's one of Telemachus's favorites from when she was traveling and discovered things. And this kicks in loud, and this other wizmo on your shoulder, Blister, sits on the gear stick, And Elara, I need you to make a sleight of hand check for me to see how you handle this as it turns on.
I love this tune. It reminds me of the time Telemachus showed us that Terminator movie. Do you remember?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I
On a
need your
50.
boots, your hat, and your motorcycle, or something like that.
And that's what keeps getting you into trouble.
On a 15, you feel this engine kick into life, and the dashboard starts to fold back and disappears from the normal Ford Falcon into all of these buttons and gadgets and gizmos that light up. This almost looks more like an aircraft type dashboard than it does a car. And it kicks in, and it goes from 0 to over 100 miles an hour in about 10 seconds. So I need you to make another sleight of hand as it comes out through this tunnel.
Okay.
It's a bit like jolty at first, and you sort of sway all over the place, and this wizmo that's not wearing a seatbelt, as it takes off, effectively gets thrown into the back seat. As this happens, you shoot up this tunnel that you can see is going up and up and up until you are out. You feel like you've been driving a very short distance, but you're pretty sure at how fast this car is going. You're out of the city. As you come up, you can see a hatch opening and sand sort of starting to trail off the top of it as you hit a road in the desert on this far-stretching tarmac. And I need you to make another sleight of hand check, as it was not accounting for the lorry coming the opposite direction.
Oh, God, okay. Oh.
That one. Okay. You are hurtling at over 200 miles an hour towards this lorry, this big tanker that is coming. What would you like to do, as this person is just about seeing you and starting to hit the brakes? But as I said, you are traveling at over 200 miles an hour.
You sure you don't want me to drive, Laura?
Can I, I'm trusting in Telemachus on this one, so I'm going to quickly, take it off the road. And see if I can have the car maneuver along the sand area as opposed to staying on the straight and narrow.
Okay, another sleight of hand for me, please, as you have lost control of the car.
Okay, do I have advantage, right?
You have two advantages, yes. One
I'm going to use one of those suckers. I'm using one of those.
Yeah,
Okay.
on an 18, you manage, as you see this, you can hear that honk of a horn and that sort of blaze as this lorry comes towards you. And as you spin the wheel, your hand also knocks something on the side. As you turn it, the car wheels themselves re-rotate in a completely different direction and send you off in the opposite direction before almost slowly a very weird sensation starts to happen, as it's like, other than the ice cream van that is currently going by my window, this is not...
It's the warning spell. It's like the warning signal. That's what it's doing.
I hate that damn ice cream truck.
I take it past 4 times a day and it always sticks out my window. But yes, the car, it's almost, you feel a very weird sensation of it. It's almost like you're going too fast. As the car has started spinning, the wheels are realigning, and it's like everything starts to compress and flatten. And through the skylight on this thing, you look as the lorry passes over you. As it comes over, just missing, and you hear it scrape and screech across the top of the roof of your car. But you are completely undamaged yourselves. You can hear, you've never heard a wizmo scream before, but right now it is screaming, and it's this weird sort of amalgamation of beeps and whirs and sort of clanking as it's throwing itself to the ground, pressing itself into the footwell. And you can almost like automatically, as you emerge the other side, it spins back round and almost like just becomes straight back into this Ford Falcon shape again. It did not slow down at all. And it keeps going as you power through the desert, towards Area 51.
I
And
guess.
now, sorry, go on, go.
Oh, she'd look over to Blister. I guess you've worn off on me more than I realized, and just keep going.
Okay. And we are going to head back over to Vega. And Vega, you are in this air hangar. This you can see this ship that you are now presented with in front of you, with Corporal Wilkins sort of looking towards you, hands on his hips. He's like, "It's impressive, isn't it? Think you can fly it?" You are muted, Vega.
We'll see. And I'm gonna look back down the corridor. Do I still see that Wizmo that was waving at me?
No, the door has closed. You do, however, see these little arms slowly working their way up to the window, which are definitely these Wizmo arms, but you can't see it yet because it seems to be falling.
So I'm gonna point at the ship by the corporal and I get a little close and it's like, yeah, look at the aerodynamics there. Look at that engine right there. And when he looks, I'm gonna interface and try to open the door just slightly, because I can do it from like 30 feet away, and I'm gonna wave the Wizmo over.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you can do that. As you hear this clank as this thing falls off of the window as the door opens, and you come and you see it hanging onto the side as the door swings open. It falls and it quickly hurries over.
I'm gonna open my bag and point for it to get in the bag.
Yeah, it just straight into there, no stop. These wheels go, and the corporal is there, just like, yeah. No, I he has no idea, but he's like, I can appreciate that.
And you said there's some scientists out the side. Is there like an interface panel that they're working with, or?
You can see it. They've actually opened almost like a panel of the ship, and it's strange because this looks like it would be made out of one solid piece of metal, almost like very smooth, very sleek. But they've obviously found a ridge where they've popped it open, and they are looking in.
Okay, I'm gonna crack that bag I was carrying, and I'm gonna reach inside, and I'm gonna look to see if what's inside can link up with the ship, if it interfaces the same.
Okay. Could you roll me a sleight of hand check, please? Woo! Okay, yes. You, on a nat 20, you can link up to this ship. And as you're sort of looking into the ship, you read some information which is interesting. It's not quite right. In fact, sometimes you look at it and double check it, like you tap it and think, that can't be right. Because you are looking at this sleek silver aircraft. But what you're seeing on your wrist, this small projection, is a very clunky, almost squarish, round looking, wrought iron type looking ship, which looks to be not well kept. And it's missing the AI.
All right, so I'm gonna turn to the corporal at this point, and I'm gonna get serious. All right, Corporal, truth time. What else do we know about this ship? No bullshit.
And like for a corporal, you can see him try and stiffen up a minute, but as you say that, it landed here not too long ago, maybe about a week ago. We're not too sure of its origin, but yes. And you can tell he doesn't actually know that much at all. And you see a scientist wander over, and George McElroy, the person who found you and employed you, walks over. Is like, I can take it from here. Thank you, Corporal. And the corporal salutes and walks away. This is a ship that is not what it seems. I'm guessing that is something you have found out yourself, sort of looking at your reaction. We are not too sure. The AI seems to be missing from this ship. and it is not looking as sleek as it appears. Would you like to come on board? I can show you a bit more.
Yes, let's go.
And he sort of walks you over, hands clasped behind him in this long sort of lab coat. And George McElroy sort of looks to the other scientists there and some of the other groups, like, if you could just leave us for a moment, thank you. And this platform comes down for you to board the ship. And as you step on, it does no way resemble the outside of this smooth, sleek silver ship. This is put together shoddily. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned in a while, and it just looks genuinely awful. And there's all of these gadgets and gizmos that seem to have been put together out of other gadgets and gizmos. And he walks you around the ship. You go down to another level, which doesn't make sense because on the outside, it doesn't look like there should be multiple levels to this ship. And you find a room full of empty cryo chambers. One of them seems to be full with beer, though you're not too sure why. And there is a very, very small, almost kitchen-like room, which again is a bit of a mess. And then there is a cockpit, which is huge. These huge, huge windows that look out over sort of the aircraft hangar that you're in. This bridge is actually quite big, with these 3 chairs at the front and this dashboard. And again, this doesn't look like it belongs to the ship, you can see. And there is a screen that has dropped down. But there is no AI, there is no face here. We're not too sure exactly what it is, but we found a name, painted rather crudely, on the side when you pull one of the hatches down. Argo 37. I'm not too sure if that is anything that you may know about. No.
I don't know if I remember.
I mean,
you know, I remember a lot of things.
Yes. I just thought I'd ask because, you know, and he's always got a sad look on his face, the fact that you don't remember, but
well,
yes, you may want to see this. And he walks you down through some of the cryo chambers, and one of the ones on the end is still empty. Underneath it says Vega reigns on the name and where the normal life sign thing reads. Obviously it's all switched off, and it's like, do you have any idea on what this could mean?
No. Cruel damn joke. Let's get it airborne. Maybe something will come back to me.
Yes, I'll show you. And he takes you over to the cockpit, and this looks for what you have flown before. You could only see this as ancient. You're pretty sure, like all the levers and everything is something that I'm fully blaming wizmos and Argo. Yeah. So, Vega, you have just seen your name on this cryo chamber, which again you're like, this is some sort of cool joke. I don't know what this is. Show me how to fly this thing. And you've been taken back into this cockpit with these 3 chairs. These chairs look pretty beaten up, apart from one. One looks pretty well looked after, actually. One of them looks like it was designed for a much smaller person. As you can see, a seatbelt plugged in with almost like a little decorative thing to make sure it doesn't, rub on the neck, something like you do in cars for kids. And you see all of these like levers and pulleys. They're all these big buttons. They don't look like they've been cleaned for a long time. They don't know. A lot of them look like they're stuck together with duct tape. Not too sure why. But George McElroy looks at you as like, if anyone can fly it, you can, right?
Have you checked for any... if this is subterfuge, if this cockpit is really just meant to look like this. I mean, after all, the ship looks a certain way on the outside. Have you got your best people to get into the system and see if something comes out of the floor, a control panel? What the heck is this?
To be honest, we were really hoping for that. But this seems to be it. We're assuming the appearance on the outside is some sort of cloaking device, even though we found it very much so. As I said, the AI seems to have disappeared. We don't seem to have it. We're currently looking at some backlogs to see if we can find any form of AI. There is one, but it's not really loading properly. It looks like it's in the sort of the premature stages of being created. It's something called Soren. But other than that, it keeps saying that it needs to be reinstated, or Argo 37 needs to be plugged in, which doesn't make sense either.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna try to interface and hack it.
Yeah, you look at this thing, and you can look at it for a while, and this guy sort of stops his sorry, and he hands you a set of keys that look like car keys. He's like, these actually start it up, and you can see a key ring on the bottom. There's a couple. There's one that says Niagara Falls at the bottom, and then there's another one which looks like a little plastic sushi thing. He's like, yeah, the ignition's around the side.
Sons of piss.
And you can put that in. And now we're gonna hop back over to Andii. And Andii, you have just had this thing grab you from behind as this hand is over your mouth, and you can hear shh, shh.
Am I restrained?
You are affected, not restrained as in like you could push this person off, but they have got their hand over your mouth quite firmly.
Can I just like look to try and see who it is? Like, what's happening?
You turn around to a small child with blonde curly hair. It's like, hi, Andii! And you can see Telemachus, this about 7 to 8 year old girl who is in full-blown orange jumpsuit and a green sort of bobble hat with tassels tied around the bottom. It's just like, and gesturing over to the bears. Like,
What are you doing here? Did you track me?
like, and sort of looks down at her own panel that is currently on the thing, and you can see it is beeping as to where Telemachus is, as she was a member of Argo 37 when you were first there.
Yes, sort of. I was looking for everyone.
Elara and Blister not here yet.
I don't know where they are.
Oh, but the wizmos escaped. If they followed protocol, they should have been here by now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I saw the wizmos. I can confirm there are wizmos running around. That is true. But I still haven't seen Elara or Blister.
Okay.
And she sort of like crouches down really low. She's like, and looks up at these things in the tubes, and she's like,
Do you know what that is?
Not yet. I was investigating that. They seem interesting. And I was looking at it, and then it started looking at me. And then you found me. And
I'm still like, I copy her, and I'm like crouched, and I'm like,
and there is like a weird sort of clicking sound coming from somewhere, like, and you can see this thing in the tube is tapping glass with its long fingers, and it's like,
you made a friend.
and it sort of like waves up at this thing, and you immediately see the scientists turn round as this thing starts to move. They don't see you and Telemachus, but they're just very much, it moved. Oh my god, it moved. It's never moved before. What? its eyes are open, and you can see them both rush over to this tube as this creature is starting to look at them, looks back at you, but they don't seem to go on the other side of the tube. And then it looks over, tilts its head, this very grey sort of head towards the rest of what you can assume is its companions in the other tubes, whose eyes have all snapped open and are looking at each other. And you can see these scientists running up and down these tubes, pressing all these buttons, recording all this information as this is happening. And what do you do right now as this is happening?
I mean, I think she's really interested, but also looks to like Telemachus and is like,
should we get out of here?
Well, I'm here because Argo's here.
Okay.
And he went out for the day, basically. The ship went out and the cloaking device went wrong and made a much better looking ship, but he left the AI at home, so now Blister and Elara don't have a ship, so I had to... It's a long story. Either way, we need to go because apparently there's some pilot guy who's going to try to fly it, and he could cause himself some real damage.
Okay, do you know where that is?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll follow you, and I guess that's not gonna work, so let's just go.
Okay, and she sort of like pauses, and you see her sort of take off this boiler suit, which she seems to be wearing, and there's a pair of dungarees underneath with some heavy boots on with this hat, and she sort of takes your hand, and she's a bit taller than last time you saw her.
yeah.
And I need you to make a stealth check to get out of this room without the scientist or anything else seeing you.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna roll as well.
That's 0 on the other side.
Oh no!
Thank you very much to the Maharishi who gifts an auto success to Vega.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, you go to sneak out of this room. Telemachus holding your hand, and as you do, something knocks. And when I say knocks, I don't mean you knock it over, I mean one of these creatures is knocking, and you see on the end of their fingertip this long nail start to grow and tap and start to shatter the glass as you see them all move in unison and start to smash the glass and work their way out. And you see the scientists suddenly freak out and panic as one of them bursts through the tube, jumping immediately on them. And you don't want to look at what they're doing as they start to shred this scientist in this lab.
I still have Telemachus's head, and I'm like, okay, we're done sneaking them now!
And you can sprint as you hear the shatter of glass, one after the other, these tubes, as these creatures launch themselves from these tubes, the water sort of cascading over. I need you to make a dexterity save as this water goes everywhere.
No. Why do you keep doing all these dexterous things to me? Dex save?
A dex save. As you do this, the water, because you're very small, this water, almost like a wave, comes out and it hits you and Telemachus, and you slide crashing into the wall where the door where you came in as you hit the wall. And this water tastes weird, very chemically. Like, you don't actually swallow any of it, but it's not the best taste in the world. You see these creatures ripping the wires off of their bodies as they sort of start to bow down, almost on all fours, but upright on these fingers. As they almost spider-like, with these grey skin, dry bodies, start looking towards you. These two scientists are no more. And the one at the front that looked at you originally from this tube tips its head and its jaw starts to stretch low. And Telemachus is screaming and trying to pull you to your feet to open the door.
Yeah, you said it like the water like smushed us into the door.
Yeah.
Like Andy is literally just like pulling at the door, not trying to get it open. Like
Let's go.
Telemachus picks you up, the door flings open, and she throws you both out of it, almost like in a tuck and roll as you're about the same size into this corridor, slamming the door shut. However, as this door slams shut, you see some of these fingers that have got trapped behind it as they start throwing themselves against the door. And you can hear this horrible ear-piercing scream from them, and it's almost like what young children hear outside shops, that high pitch that most adults can't hear. It's that, and it hurts. And I need you. You can either make a strength or an athletics check to try and hold this door shut, or you can run.
I think that I want to take Telemachus and just run.
Okay. I need you to make. You can either make an acrobatics or an athletics check on sprinting, as you haven't blocked this door and this thing's fingers are in it, starting to pry it open.
Can I give her my advantage?
You can.
She can take my advantage. Okay. Thank you. 'Cause I'm not good at.
You almost run on the spot with this water as it starts leaking through. You grab Telemachus, and the shriek is enough for you to bolt down this corridor, back up those stairs. You see a wizmos tearing up behind you, the one that you had originally followed down, now itself making this strange whirring, beeping noise as Telemachus scoops it up with one of her hands, and you can drag Telemachus up these stairs. As you turn to look back, you see this creature, the door flies off the handle and crashes into the corridor wall opposite as these things start to crawl out the side of the doorway, across the ceiling, the walls, and the floor as they start their pursuit after you. And Telemachus is just going, run, 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 run! Like it's just screaming as you can see as you pass these scientists who almost look like two children pushing people out of the way.
Yeah, like running between legs and just like
weaving in between legs. You're moving, and some people are looking back at you. And Telemachus slams her fist onto one of the alarm doors as everything goes into red light mode, and this alarm goes off. Blister and Elara, you have arrived at the best moment as you pull up. You see that wire fence and the guards stood at the side. They've got their sort of guns at the side. They're just guarding. They're not actually shooting anything as you pull up. You see the gate where they normally let cars through, but you can also see just a wire fence. And this alarm is so loud that you can hear it.
something tells me they've already got to work.
Yeah, sounds about right. I wonder if this thing has like a special button or something. I'm gonna start like pulling out the cigarette lighter, trying to I'll pull the gear stick top off. Oh no, that's not one either. Yeah, Telemachus made this thing. There's bound to be a special button somewhere. Maybe it's the aircon. These cars didn't have aircon back then, I'm sure. Like pressing.
Yes, but pressing, not pulling out.
You make a sleight of hand check for me, please, Blister.
I can.
Oh. You are buzzing and whirring. You are pulling things out of the dashboard. You are slamming buttons on the dashboard. And you hit something and Elara, you realize you lose full control of the car. As it jolts forwards towards this gate where these guards are, and they hold their hands out for you to stop, but you are going fast.
All right, this is happening.
Yeah.
You're going to do anything. You have about 30 seconds to decide.
Can I try and take control of the wheel itself?
Yes, roll a sleight of hand check for me, please.
Okay. Ooh.
18. As you do, you manage to get hold of the wheel, and you see that these guards suddenly realize you're not stopping. These guards suddenly realize that you're not stopping, and they dive out the way as you swerve the car and you crash it through this this barrier as this splinter of wood. And a small screen comes down in the car, in front of the window you're supposed to be looking out of. He's like, okay, as Argo sort of appears. He's like, not to alarm you or anything. There seems to be a problem at Area 51. And there, you can see these alarms going off this creature. You've just crashed through the barrier. You're sliding through one of the fences and you're taking the railings with you as you go as a skidding halt as you swing round. And Argo's like, oh.
Alara's gonna press the side of her headband and the visor comes down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not a good sign. I'm getting out of the car.
You're gonna have to tuck and roll to get out this car. Are you tucking?
Oh, I thought it skidded around to a stop. I'm sorry.
No, you're still going. You're taking the fence with you.
Oh, I do not duck and roll out of the car.
Oh, no, don't do that. So can I try and get it to, is it spinning still and it's pulling the fence?
It's just pulling the fence now. You're not actually spinning anymore, but you're heading towards the building.
All right, can I try and stop the car?
Yeah, go for it.
Like,
Sleight of
fully
hand.
e-brake in the center or something like that type of trick?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, sleight of. How are you trying to stop it?
Full stop brake mode.
Okay. Do athletics just on how hard you push this.
Oh, athletics, alright.
Thank you very much to Tool School, who's trying to save the party by gifting everyone an advantage.
Hey, thank you, bud!
And you slam down on these brakes and Blister, were you wearing your seatbelt? Or did you take
No.
it?
No, wait, hang on,
we
wasn't
locked
I
in?
buckled in? We got.
It
Yeah,
was
we were like-
in, but were you taking it off? So you said you were gonna move or not?
Oh no, I wouldn't have done.
Okay, but you do all sort of feel like this elastic almost as it has, and the seats suddenly start to become a lot softer and squishier, almost like they're airbags themselves, as it sort of starts to cocoon around you to protect you as you slam into the side of this building. You are fine. But you see alarms going off. You see panic as lots of army trucks start pulling up and people are jumping out of them. They don't even seem to be caring about you. They are running straight into the building.
Right, well, where they're running from, we run towards.
Hey, sure, that sounds good. Everything's gone well so far, so.
Oh, swimmingly. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Out of the car.
Okay. You can get out of the car and you can almost follow the others down into this building of Area 51 because there is a panic. You are fighting a wave of scientists, like other people coming out as well, and just people that work there as they are trying to get out. And you can hear yells and screams as this happens. You see one scientist from at the end of the corridor just get thrown down one end as you see this creature that actually seems to be getting bigger as it starts moving through the corridor. And you hear a shriek and a yell, and what have you got on you that keeps Argo with you? Because you always have Argo with you. Have you got like a wristband or something?
Watch, right? Because there was that
Yeah.
wristwatch where you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
you've got that on. Argo comes back up and it's like, right, not to alarm you, but we seem to all be in a bit of a sticky situation here. Also, I thought it'd be necessary to bring to your attention both the wizmos and I am picking up a reading of Telemachus is in the vicinity. And also another member of Argo, but I don't remember this one. I'm sorry, I delete files after so many years.
We need to have a discussion on your timing, Argo. Telemachus?
Yeah.
Elara would look to Blister right away hearing Telemachus's name.
Let's go!
Now.
I pull out the super advanced gun that I've been hiding about my person.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll have my gun out too.
you can run.
Okay.
Vega, you have been on this ship and you were about to set it off when all of the alarms have gone down. And you know this isn't an alarm for just any old thing. This is the major alarm that is going off. You don't necessarily know what it's for. but people are freaking out, and you are muted.
Okay, sorry about that.
No.
So were there any other ships? So I'm looking at this thing, and I see my name, and obviously this might be something that's telling me that this could be my bus ride, but at the same time, I just don't trust this ship with what I'm looking at. And since everything's going haywire, I'm assuming. So I guess, is there another ship that I had flown that had space travel, even if it was a small fighter, something that had a little bit more?
You can see a small fighter that you have flown
Yeah.
before. It is very small. It is literally one man. It's like the cockpit and nothing else. Like
Okay.
yeah.
But it had like weapons and it's much more technology.
Yeah, think X-wing.
Okay.
from
So
Star
I'm
Wars.
gonna tell the doctor.
Hmm.
Thanks for everything. I
Wait,
think
what?
this is the bus ride I've been waiting for. You should probably hide here. And I'm gonna follow this thing because I want to know why my name is in the other room, but not while inside this thing. So, thanks for everything you've done.
He
Take
shakes
care.
your hands. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I pulled the wizmo off for a second. I'm like, don't worry, I got him. Put him back in the bag,
What is
and
that?
I leave the ship. And I leave the ship.
and you run. You can sprint out of the ship, and
Yeah.
you can hear the scientist is shouting after you, but you're gone. You can flee straight towards this ship.
Right.
And as you leave it, you see the image of this sleek silver ship sort of static and jutter, as if the cloaking device is slowly coming off it. But you can run towards the cockpit of this small fighter pilot ship. And you've already logged it into your system because you've flown it before, and you can open it and it recognizes you. And it's like, welcome, Vega. Please make yourself comfortable, ready for takeoff. And you can sit in and it starts strapping you in.
So I'm gonna pull the wizmo out and say, behave, or I'll launch you into outer space.
It looks pretty excited by that and puts
Okay.
his arms up in the air and immediately runs to the front where there is like one of those little like an Elvis like, you know, the things you got in the front of a van that used to shake their hips. He's got one of those at the front of this, and it's sort of gone next to it and he's starting boogieing with it.
Okay.
Andy, you are running, you are sprinting with these creatures coming behind you. That flood of water is creeping up the hallways, and these things, you can hear the screeches of these weird things, these creatures going on as it happens. And basically people screaming, as you can see people being flung to the side and thrown down these corridors. Telemachus is sprinting.
Yeah.
And you are running. What are you doing as you run?
I'm just trying to keep me and Telemachus ahead of everything. And then I'm probably like attempting to like pull up something that to tell me like which way to head for Argo, because I had something look at like because I was looking for the wizmos in the ship and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Okay.
definitely trying to just trying to figure out which way we have to go to stay away.
I tell you what, Telemachus, whilst you're doing this, can you make a perception check for me? Telemachus is literally weaving you in and out between the people as this happens. 21. Yeah, you can see that these creatures actually seem to be coming in from every single angle. There is also a massive signal that has just been triggered for some reason that Argo is within the vicinity as this is happening. And these creatures, you can see that they're coming from behind you, from either side of you, and Argo is towards the aircraft hangar area of this. And you can go screeching round the corners as Telemachus is literally almost half lifting and throwing you over people as well as she's throwing herself. And Elara and Blister, you have this perception. You see a wizmo screech and slide past something, and you see this gnome, which you recognize as Andii, almost sail through the air with Telemachus running. This very young, sort of 7 to 8 year old Telemachus, like weaving in between the scientists, dragging what you know to be your space gnome friend Andii from previous adventures.
So like they're right on top of us type of thing?
They're at the other end of the corridor. You can see them going down a different corridor that is heading towards the air hangar.
There's Andii. There's Telemachus. We're going.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like rec guns out and everything.
As you start running after them, I need you both to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check on just getting through this crowd because you're bigger. Okay.
But
if I have to start pushing through people, I'm not going to resort to athletics. I'm just going to magic Mike and just move.
I need you to roll me an athletics or acrobatics anyway, but yes, you can do that with advantage because of this.
Thank you.
Yeah, never mind. You are literally cartwheeling through there with a magic mine. You sort of crash to the Elara. You get slowed down as you see what looks to be like a janitor's closet spring open, almost in your way, as about 24 wizmos pile out with a mop and a bucket as they come sort of crashing through. 3 of them are attached to this mop and have started charging after Andii and Telemachus, as they were originally following Telemachus because it was her signal they picked up. The rest of them, they turn and they stop and look up at both you and Blister as you are tearing through this.
oh, I'd look down at them and shout like, "Start working together," because and like pointing to Telemachus down the way.
Yeah. Some of them pick up the others, the smaller ones. There's one of the very large ones there that has grabbed some of the others under its arms and it is wheeling down the corridor towards this. Yeah, you can get into the same corridor as Andii and Telemachus. What are you doing?
Telemachus, what's the plan?
She can't hear you over the screams and everything. She can't hear you.
How far away are they?
Oh, hang on, you've got magic mic.
I do.
She's yelling this through the magic mic.
If it seems like she can't hear me.
Okay, Andii, you hear almost a deafening scream as this happens, almost like that. You know when a microphone gets too close to speakers? It's that. And Telemachus sort of stops dead. It's like, I know that noise, and turns round and looks and sees both Blister and Elara. And you've been looking for Blister and Elara probably for a long time, and here they are.
Hi! There's aliens! Not good ones! Come! We gotta go!
Okay.
Forward. Keep going. Keep going. Like at this point, it's like tearing loose. She's gone Mama Bear mode.
And you can start tearing forward. Telemachus is sprinting. She's just like, wait,
To the hangar, the Argo's in there.
and she just sprints.
Okay.
These wizmos at her tail, and if they're not at her tail, they're climbing over Blister.
All right. Following.
Mm-hmm.
At the ready to attack if anyone even gets
Okay.
close to harming anyone.
You see these huge creatures, and Andii, they are bigger than they were when you saw them in the tube. It's almost like as they have attacked or consumed, they get bigger.
And there's more of them.
There's about 5 or 6 of these things as they are crawling up on the ceilings and along the walls as their quickest route to you, and they are just knocking. One of them you can tell was the one that you looked at first, as it's very fixated on you, knocking these scientists and other people out of the way to get to you. So you can all run. You can see one of the main doors where you know the hangar is. It's locked. What do you do?
Kick it open. I absolutely
kind of
kick it open.
Roll an athletics check for me. If you're kicking it open, that is Elara.
Oh hell yeah!
Nice.
Okay.
Barbarian.
23, you can see Telemachus is fumbling with all the things that she's got, trying to scan these different cards, which look modified. You're pretty sure they're someone else's she's adapted to. And Andii, you see this creature come crawling along the corridor towards you. Elara, you don't stop. You keep going, and you just foot out, absolutely crash through this door as it opens. Blister, what are you doing?
Well, when I saw that the door wasn't opening, I got ready to cast technical difficulties on the lock thing, but Alara's clearly got that handled. There's aliens chasing us, right?
Yes, there are.
Well, then I guess I better take a pop shot at one of them.
Okay, can you roll initiative for me, please? The 3 that are in here.
All of us.
The 3 of you, yeah.
A solid 9.
Okay. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, the three of you are in this, and hang on, let's roll for Telemachus as well, shall we? 17. Okay. Okay, as this creature, you see it as you turn Andii as Elara bursts through this door. You see it jump from the ceiling, reaching out with these fingers that come sort of jumping towards you. However, on Telemachus's first go, she takes action to literally elbow you out of the way and crash and take you to the side so that when it lands, it doesn't land on you. It is now Elara's go. You see this creature that has narrowly missed Andii as Telemachus has taken Andii off to the side into the wall.
All right, I'm gonna try and shoot it with my rec gun.
Go for it.
Come on. 1 second. Roll 20. Just roll 20 on me. No. Reload. There we go.
That is not a hit, I'm afraid, as it comes. You fire off this gun, and it sort of just sails off between as it's missed Andii and Telemachus. It sort of ducks and starts to rear up again. Your shot going straight underneath its arm. Blister, it is your turn.
Not Telemachus.
No, Blister, it's your turn.
Okay, fair. Then, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna fire first of all with my Magnus. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
one-handed. It looks like a cowboy gun. It's great. 4.
Does not hit. I'm afraid you do that as you forget the recoil on this, and it literally just goes out of your hand as this bullet shoots up into the air. And by doing that, you attract its attention as it rears up and starts screeching to look at you.
I try and distract it again. I panic, and some like psychedelic thing appears behind it. It looks more like a club than anything else because Blister doesn't really have the imagination for. No, it's a broken bottle. A broken bottle appears behind it as I cast spiritual weapon, and that's a 3.
Yeah, this doesn't do much. It's sort of like as you're trying to cast it, with this thing screaming at you in its face, that you can see the jaws stretch all the way down, and these almost like nail-like teeth that are very circular. It's not like a jaw. It's like a circular sort of motion of these teeth. And this, you sort of half panic as you see this spiritual broken bottle flying around manically in the background because you've panicked too much and it's not doing anything. It's now the creature's turn. So, right, and it is attacking Blister as you've done this to it. I'm guessing a 3 doesn't hit.
No, a 3 doesn't hit me, no.
It's literally swiping now at the bottle as it's come like close. And it is now Andi's turn.
So the one that was like eyeing me down is now in front of Blister, or that one's still on the wall, or?
There's only one here at the moment, and this one is now eyeing up Blister and this weird floating spectral broken bottle.
I'm going to Andii, who's still like, I think, under Telemachus, because Telemachus just protected her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Telemachus. And is just going to like reach into something in her lab coat. And like, how far is this thing from me? Is it like pretty close?
Oh, it's very, very close. This is a narrow corridor. If anything, you're lucky it's not on top of you with how big it is.
Yeah, I think she has like what looks like a little like, almost like a needle gun, like shot. And she just like holds it up and shoots it, and I'm casting Inflict Wounds.
Yes. Yeah, that's a hit. That is a hit. So can you roll damage for me, please? Yeah, as you do this, you've like got Telemachus that has fallen on top of you. However, with your nail gun at the side, you are able to reach underneath Telemachus's arm, have a view over her shoulder, and just keep firing. And each one that strikes this creature, you hear that horrible screech again as this purple sort of almost like shimmer leaves these nails, almost creating like it almost looks like a heat wave. when heat's rising off the tarmac as it sort of shimmers and starts sort of crashing into this creature as it takes 13 points of necrotic damage. It is now Telemachus's go, and Telemachus is getting up. She only has one thing on her, so she is going to roll. She hits, and she does. A 6. Okay, so you see Telemachus sort of push herself up off of you. She reaches into one of her dungaree pockets and pulls out like this baton that's sort of glowing. It almost looks like a glow stick, but she swipes around and takes the opportunity as you have just fired your gun into this and crashes into its ankles, and it sort of just takes it and knocks it down. Elara, it is your turn.
And it's still up, right?
Yes, it is still up. However, it's just taken a lot of damage. It's recoiled away from Blister. You've seen Telemachus swipe at its sort of Achilles, where its ankles are, and almost knock it as if it supports itself with the wall and the damage that Andy's just given it.
Seeing that Telemachus has to start taking action, Lara's flipping into rage.
Mm-hmm.
So, get that going, and I'm also going to use my... Ooh! The gun again, right? Because I don't have my club with me. All right, so let's try again with the gun.
Yes, that is a hit.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. You, well, describe it for me. How are you firing off these two shots as you see Telemachus and Andii fighting this thing?
Seeing both of them in trouble again, it's going right back to where she was before. So she's holding a gun. It's a two-handed gun. So she holds it straight and true, and she just narrows her eyes at it, saying nothing, but you can tell that the rage has kicked in, and she just pulls the trigger twice accurately and instinctually.
Yeah, you see this almost like a colored energy that erupts from the end of this gun and strikes this creature as it comes up. It is the creature's turn, and it is turning towards Andii. And look.
No, we're
This
not
is nat
friends.
20
Oh, yep.
hit.
Oh!
Oh, yep. Well, it was nice.
Okay. Right. So this creature was, after taking the damage from you, it hurts. You can see it's burning. You can see it sizzling, and it's almost like it's smoking from all of these angles. So it is going to just take this sort of half of its hefty arm and half of its shoulder, and it literally slams itself into you so that you are crushed up against the wall.
Yeah.
Let's have... Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Oh, if I could spell, it'd be so much better. There you go. And then we double this. 16 damage as it sort of smashes you into the side of the wall, your tiny little body, and you sort of you can hear Telemachus scream basically as this creature happens, and it holds you there. It's got its arm and its shoulder right up by your own shoulders and neck, and it is leaning, and you notice its neck is stretching to get to you as it's sort of, and the mouth starts to open with
It wants to give me a kiss. This sounds good.
a very toothy one if it is.
Oh, okay.
Very long needle point teeth as it starts to open, and you notice it is stretching larger than your head.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
Okay, Blister, it is your turn as you see this happening.
All right. I know what to do.
Do you?
I throw my Magnus. If you'll let me do this as a free action, I throw my Magnus to Telemachus. Would you allow me that?
I would allow you that.
Because I'm going to rugby tackle the alien.
Okay, I need you to roll me. You can either roll an athletics, or I will let you roll like a strength save or something.
I'm going to use my advantage.
Okay.
Thank God I did.
God,
Thank God I did.
Describe it for me.
I
You run
just,
towards this
like, as
creature.
it's holding Andii against the wall, I just slam into the side of it.
Okay, you run almost proper rugby tackle as you crash into it. Andii, you see almost as this jaw comes down to snap, it pinches as it is dragged away from you, and you drop to the floor. Telemachus almost half catching you as you fall down, and you feel like air returns to your lungs again. Blister, I actually need you to roll damage for a 19. So could you roll me?
That's just athletics. I'm just grappling it. But
You're just grappling
I
it.
do have bonus action. I will move the spiritual weapon to my hand
Go.
and
With
try
your
and
spiritual
gash at
weapon.
it with my broken bottle. There we go. That's how we do it in Glasgow, pal. You want to? Next up comes the Glasgow kiss. All right.
Could you please roll damage?
I can. Yeah.
What?
My magic modifier is -1.
You have managed. You are swimming, and it is passing through this creature's face, and it's sort of looking at you like mildly perplexed. Telemachus runs forward after making sure Andy's okay, seeing it now on effectively her dad, and runs forward with this bat and does not hit. But Blister, you see her running towards you, and almost as you come up, she swings and completely misses. Elara, it is your turn.
Okay, so this thing's still going?
Yep.
I'm going back after it again with the gun.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Yes, it hit.
And I forgot to put the rage in there too. Oh no, it's there. Hold on.
It's there.
It's there. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay, you sit there, you sort of point this gun down and you fire a few times, and this thing is starting to scream. It looks bad. It is screeching as you go through. It is now the creature's go, and Blister is going to swipe at you, trying to knock you again. Let's have a look. 19. It is going to hit.
That does hit, yes.
Hang on. Sorry, there it is. It swipes and hits you for 10 damage, almost completely knocking you off of it again. It's sort of, you feel this huge, heavy, muscular arm come crashing up and knocking you back. But it is now your go.
Me?
It is your go.
Oh wow, this is a quick round. All right. Having got rid of my Magnus and realizing that I don't really have that much other kind of damaging magical stuff, I'm going to take the butter knife from my jacket.
Pinned down the button every time.
And I'm going to stab at the creature with the butter knife.
Yes. I really want you to hit it. You don't.
I did not hit it.
I'm
No.
sorry.
But I've got butter knife in one hand, spiritual weapon in the other, so bonus action. There's a 6. This broken bottle really isn't doing it for me, to be honest. But at least it's still grappled. It can't move.
It's grappled, but you are just swiping at it, literally spreading it with a butter knife, and you are hitting it with nothing. Andii, it is your go. You've just seen Blister be hit and Telemachus knocked off to the side.
Okay. And it's just this one here right now, right?
Yes, it's just this one, which is Blister is currently sat on top of with a butter knife.
And he's like, can we stop? And I'm using command. And I'm like, can we just please go? Let me try. Where's command?
So what is that? Is that saving throw for?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. I need to do.
Wisdom saving throw.
How much is the wisdom saving throw? That's what.
My spell DC is only 12 apparently.
Okay, so I've got to beat a 12.
Yeah, because I think it's 8 plus proficiency plus, so it's 8 plus 2 plus 2 is 12.
15.
Ah!
Looks at you, rears back, and just screams back at you as you're wagging your finger at it. Do you have any other moves, or are you?
I don't think I have any bonus
moves. I'm just like backing away and trying to check on Telemachus, and
It is Telemachus's go as this comes round. She does not hit. She's been completely knocked over the side as this thing has thrown her across the room. And Elara, it is your turn.
okay, we're gunning it again because Telemachus is on the floor. Shoot at the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Please, dear God, no!
No, that is a miss. This creature is getting up. It is moving.
No! Can I move towards Telemachus where she's been thrown since I haven't moved
Oh
yet?
gosh, yeah, she's been thrown towards like that direction.
So that I'm going right over to Telemachus and basically being human shield at this point.
Okay, you can see this creature starting to heave itself up. It shoves Blister off, and it is going to attack you, Elara, as it swoops out. I did that wrong. Hang on. 5 does not hit. As you do, it's almost like as you're sort of like bending down to move towards Tilem, because that's when it swings out and swipes. Blister, it is your go. For the love of God, hit it. It has just thrown you off, and it has made its way towards Telemachus and Elara.
Run! Everyone run!
There's no way to run here.
I'm going to. Okay, let's hope that it rolls real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take my guitar, and I'm going to play that chord, the one that no one likes, as I play Dissonant Whispers.
Okay, what am I rolling for a save?
Wisdom save of DC 9. Oh my god, is that my damage on 3d6? Really?
15.
Half damage. You take free psychic damage,
free.
you big newt.
Hang on, wait. Did you just say I take 3 psychic damage?
Yes.
How'd you kill it?
Yes. Well, it's clearly not enough annoying. It's clearly not like the kind of sound that will really like harm it. So I just pester it to death. I just annoy it with the chord. I just start chasing it. Like, hey, yeah, beastie. Yeah!
It starts screaming and grabbing its ears as it runs away down the corridor. However, as you chase after it down this corridor, and you see it finally collapse in a heap at the other end of this corridor. As it does, you look up from this creature that's collapsed, and 3 more look at you from down this corridor. Elara and Andii and Telemachus, you can see this open door that opens up into the hangar. Vega, you have just you've climbed into the cockpit of your sort of fighter ship, and you see these 3 people come tearing in the opposite direction. What do you do?
Do I see the monsters chasing them?
You do see no, you don't see the monsters yet, but you can hear the screams coming from that direction.
Are they making their way towards the Argo, the ship I was just on?
They are just coming in through the first door of the hangar.
Okay, I wait until either they get on the ship or I see the monsters.
Okay, so Blister, what are you doing as these 3 things sort of rear up?
Running!
You turn and you run. I need you to make an athletics or an acrobatics check, please, just to get through this corridor now covered in debris.
Oh, that's not my best. I've rolled better.
Okay, Elara, you have kicked through this door and you've dragged Telemachus in. Andii, you are turning and running after them. However, you just see Blister almost trip and crash into the front part of this corridor, and you can see these shadows of these looming creatures coming towards him.
All right. I turn to Andii, make sure Telemachus gets away, and I'll double back towards Blister.
Okay. I need you to make an athletics check for me, please, to get us back to Blister.
Oh God, these rules today.
You are sprinting and you see this creature start coming towards it. Blister, what are you doing?
Scrabbling. If I fall over, that's fine. I'll just run on all 4s.
Okay. Okay, roll with advantage because I just want to see if you're doing this the Blister way. Yeah,
Dirty 20!
You start scrabbling and running. You have been thrown out of many a pub and had to run from fights sometimes. So you are sprinting. You can grab Elara on the way. Sort of on a 20, you start dashing through. And Vega, you see these people burst through this door. And Blister, Elara, and Andii, you see the smooth silver ship jutter and glitch as it completely transforms into the Argo 37 you know. Vega, what are you doing as these three huge creatures come crashing through? They actually take some of the wall off through the side with it as they are running towards it.
Vega's gonna open fire on them.
Yes, roll for me, please. Just standard attack and I will do the damage for the ship.
What is that, just a dex attack, or what do I roll?
Roll a dex actually. Just do a dex save for me. Oh no, that one.
Can I use my advantage?
You can on the next roll. You can on the next roll. But basically, you've used it. So you hear that, you know, like in the Millennium Falcon, when it doesn't quite go into hyperdrive, that sound, it starts happening. The missiles have jammed, the guns have jammed, as you see these three creatures launch themselves towards these people, and you can see a small child with them, another one that looks like a child or the height of a child, but you're not too sure, and Elara and Blister come tearing. Are you going towards Argo 37, Blister, Elara, and Andii?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And when we hear that sound, when we hear that sound as well, I'm like, I don't know who's in there, but they clearly tried to use the main lasers, the one that we never bought.
No, then in a different ship. They're in a different ship.
Oh, they're in a different ship. All right.
Yeah.
To Argo,
Yeah.
to Argo, to Argo.
And you sprint. And I need you all to make either an acrobatics or an athletics check to run towards Argo as these things come tearing after you.
Okay. Oh, thank God. What?
It's alright, we'll take the first one. I'm going to
Great.
do Telemachus as well.
Can I use my advantage?
Yes, you can.
Ah, okay.
Ooh.
Okay, on a nat 20, what I will say is that you see Telemachus fall, but you can grab her on the nat 20. You can she sort of trips over herself, more because there's a wizmo in front of her as well, who she's scooping up. You grab her by
Yes, I grab her and she grabs it. She's lifted me up enough times that I need to do the same for her.
sort of stopped to pick up a wizmo, and you've grabbed her by the back of the dungarees and kept going. Elara, you tear down their Blister. Have you rolled?
No.
Could you roll, please?
I thought I'd try athletics to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah,
But...
you're a lot slower, but you're definitely getting there. Like, you can see these creatures almost cantering like big cats towards you with and one of them tries to reach out, and it's just that fingernail distance from you. Vega, if you would like to use your advantage and fire now, please go.
They're almost to their ship. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my auto 20 at this point.
Yeah? You got
Yeah,
auto 20. Perfect. Okay. I will do the damage for the ship because I do have damage stats for the ship. I just want to see what it is. So, hang on. Okay. You fire these missiles, these torpedoes, these guns off from this fighter pilot, and you can see it. You've had to turn it up so it is hovering slightly above as you pepper these creatures, absolutely destroy them. Some of them get flown back, some of them go crashing to the other side. There's pretty much bits of them all over the place as well. And you can hear other screeches from further down the corridor. They don't seem to be coming through yet, but what would you like to do as you've completely annihilated these three creatures?
Do I have an intercom system on this ship? Like, could I say something where they could hear me?
Yeah, for sure. You have like speakers that go out of the ship.
I'm gonna say, please save the scientist on your ship. Take him with you.
And you can hear that as you all board the ship. you see a quivering scientist at the back, just like, oh my god, like as George McElroy stands there, like with what looks to be like a crowbar, sort of stood there as you all come on, and it's as you sort of run on, what are you doing? And Vega, are you getting out the ship to join them?
Oh no, I'm gonna follow him in this one.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Blister, Elara, and Andii, what are you doing as you see the scientist on the ship?
Is he coming with us?
Please take me with you. Like, is he
Coming
sort
with
of
us. He's coming with us. He's coming with us, and I'm beelining it towards the captain's chair and everything on the bridge,
Okay.
and making sure the door behind us closes up with a hatch. Getting
Okay.
everything set and ready. Just shouting to Telemachus the usual orders and everything, and
Mhm.
getting.
She almost falls into place immediately as she runs tearing around the ship. You hear that clang of her footsteps running down the grated areas. She's just flicking on every single switch as everything has been off and it starts powering up. You see the lights go up. You see the sort of the blast shields come up off of the huge windows at the front. And as you do, Telemachus Sword slams her hand down on one of the buttons, and 3 more seats come up behind the other usual. They look a lot cleaner and a lot newer than the others. And she sort of snatches your watch off you, Elara, without thinking, and then jams it into one of the things at the front. And everything starts to power up as a screen drops down and Argo glitches in. He's like, ah! God, that's so much better. Now what?
We're getting out of here.
Oh, God, okay.
Like,
Do I have to do anything?
as soon as we get on the ship, the air of panic leaves Blister entirely as he just sort of slows down, hands on hips. Oh, this is better, and just starts walking back towards the lunchroom. It's great to be home.
And you can hear screeching from down the corridors, Elara and Andii. Not on the ship, but from the actual air hangar. And you can, like, Telemachus is like, close the door! Like, she's like trying to, but she can't quite reach that button because she is that much smaller.
Yep, getting the door closed.
Mm-hmm. You close the door. You hear a clang of metal as these things start to crawl up over the side of the ship. And Vega, so do you. You've got this one where you've got the glass shield over the top, and you see this creature pressed onto the top above you.
I'm gonna gun it out of there and try to dump him.
Okay, right. Can you roll me a sleight of hand check with advantage, please? Because you are a pilot.
Oh, I gotta take this off to see it. I can't see the screen.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. On a 22, you sort of, as the ship starts to hover up, you are able to get up high enough, because this is a high ceiling. As you flip the ship to the side, you can turn it almost right up on its angle. So you are looking now at Argo from an angle, and this creature flies off and slams against one of the other hangar walls. You can see the army coming in and letting out fire as these creatures are flooding into the hangar. The roof starts to open. You are able to take off if you wish.
oh yeah.
Can we go, please?
It's like I'm hitting all the buttons. I'm like pulling, and everything's just coming right back to me. No problem.
Yeah, Telemachus has already sat on the seat. She's strapping herself in like she always does. Andii, what are you doing?
Absolutely strapping myself into a seat so I don't go flying when we take off.
Okay. Blister, where are you?
I went straight to the cryo chambers, and I'm gonna get on the magic mic and be like, we might need to stop by the house. The cryo chambers are a little bit low down here.
Hitting my helmet, not now. Turns him back off and just keeps going with the ship.
Okay. And Argo, sort of on this screen, this floating head, is just like, I suppose we should get a move on then. And he sort of turns around as if he's turned his back to you, so you see the back of his head, and you feel the engines start to erupt, start to take off, and it really tips, and you hear like a knock, and he goes, oh, sorry, it's been a while, and it starts to raise up off of the floor. You can hear a scrabbling as some of these creatures are trying to hold on to the outer side of it. Vega, are you taking off as well?
So yeah, I'm gonna get up and can I either, since I've already interfaced into that ship, can I hack in or can I at least contact them and communicate with them?
Oh gosh, yeah, you would have been able to do that already. So yeah, you can speak through Argo, and you hear Argo, "We have an incoming message." And Vega, your face can appear on this screen in front of these people. What would you like to relay?
I would, well, greetings. It seems fate has brought us together for some crazy reason. You have information I need and a friend on board. I think I saved you back there. You may owe me one. Would you follow me to this safe place far away and we can discuss?
How about you follow me, cowboy, and I'm going off with Argo.
Mm-hmm. And Vega, I need you to roll another sleight of hand with advantage, please. Yes, okay, so you managed to take off. You managed to get this fighter jet, you sort of swirl it back into the right position, and you shoot off up through these doors that are opening. And also, Argo just jets. It doesn't even like go at an angle, he just goes up. He just shoots upwards. And as you do, you can look down, sort of over the side, and you see Area 51 getting flooded with these creatures. You see the gunfire going off, almost just like little flickers of light energy, not anything else. As you start climbing higher and higher through the atmosphere, you break the clouds, you break the next level, and you start before you suddenly hit that blackness, that dark blue, the out of space with those stars as you leave Earth again. And you are back in space, and Vega, you have joined them as you do through all of this. As you go back into space and you can steady this all down, and you are drifting.
Argo, could you turn the gravity back on? That'd be great.
As you are, well, Blister is currently floating around. The rest of you are strapped into your seats, so everything is fine. And the gravity comes on. Blister, you drop, as do some of the bottles crashing around you. But you stop.
See, that's why I usually go for cans.
Oh no! I didn't get a sample.
Right. Well then, and I'll disengage the belts and everything and turn my chair to Telemachus. There's a story. Let's hear it.
Not now, because it's a little bit busy.
And she sort of runs off back down the corridors and towards where her lab always was. And she looks a little bit different. There's a little bit more of a quirk to her now. Like it's almost like the older personality is definitely there. This is definitely a younger version.
Okay. Going after her then.
She runs. Andii, what are you doing?
It sounds like she was gonna do something interesting, so I want to go see.
And you do. You can both run after her. And Blister, what are you doing in your beer cabinet?
Oh, I was just
thingy?
grabbing beer and then heading back towards the cockpit. So I'll just stroll in, I guess, with a couple of beers.
Yeah, you stroll in. Everyone's gone. People run after Telemachus. But in front of you, you can see what looks like a small fighter jet. Definitely a very futuristic one, far more upgraded than your own. Only fits one person. Sorry. You can put your feet up on this board as Argo turns round and looks at you. Wasn't that bad, was it?
No, it wasn't that bad at all, I didn't think. And the beer's still cold, which is nice. They didn't manage to depower it. Who's that?
Oh, you know, I haven't asked.
Grab the magic mic. Hey, who goes out there?
And Vega, you can hear Blister come through, not on the radio, but like from everywhere with this magic mic. It's like he's surrounding you as this happens.
What is the Wizmo doing the whole time? that was with
The
me.
Wizmo is looking at the little Elvis Presley on the side and has not been phased at all by everything and is trying to mimic it because Elvis was like shrieking manically on the way on the launch off. So this
Upside
Wizmo
down.
was, this Wizmo was sort of trying to hold on at the same time.
Well, how are you?
Pretty good, actually. It's good to be back. How about yourself?
Better than where we were just at. Good to be back. Where? This is where you came from. That's your ship.
Oh, is this supposed to be one of them confidential things? Do we know each other already? Did we meet maybe in a bar or something?
No, I don't think I've ever seen any of you ever before.
Oh, Argo, do we have like a landing bay or something like that?
Well, there was one, but I haven't cleaned it in a while. Well, actually, no, hang on a minute. Weren't you the janitor of the ship?
I was. What's in there at the minute?
I mean, there's a lot of laundry in there.
Oh,
But
no
we
one,
have got a small bay, like...
no one wants to do laundry.
Ah.
Open the bay doors.
Fine. And he actually physically leaves the screen.
Oh, watch out there. There'll be some debris.
Like, literally, is. You see him physically move across screens like he's walking down to the air bay. And Vega, you see this small, very small, like, you really have to fly into this carefully, bay open, and t-shirts and jumpers and trousers are released into space as the laundry sort of takes off with this sort of wash basket that keeps going as well.
I'll land inside, or attempt to anyway.
No, you can land inside. You're a pilot. You know, you sort of, with steady things, you see a little Wizmo there. In fact, you see a lot of Wizmos, and they have these little glow sticks that they're guiding you in with as you come in, and you can land. And Blister, were you going to the bay as well, or?
I might as well, yeah.
Yeah, you can stroll down there with a beer, and as soon as the doors close, Vega, you are able to get back out. You see all the Wizmos drop with the gravity, even though they were guiding you in. But you're in.
And I grab the Wizmo that's in the cockpit. I'm like, are these all your friends?
And this Wizmo sort of beeps excitedly, like with grabby hands. But he's clinging onto the Elvis. He's taking it with him.
You can come back and play with Elvis anytime. In the meantime, let's get out and see what's going on. I'm sure they'll be excited to see you if you belong to them. Many things, not a thief.
And Blister here, as the door, the top lid of this thing, of this fighter pilot ship opens, and Vega and one of your Wizmos is clutched in his hand, and the Wizmo is clutching onto a dancing Elvis, which he has not let go of. And Vega, these steps sort of unfold themselves down so that you can walk down.
Vega, you are treated to the sight of Blister. I realise I haven't described the poor bugger yet this season. Tie-dye boiler suit covered in a leather jacket. Long multicoloured dreadlocks with a backwards cap on, covering most of his face. He looks human. He's passing as human. He passes as human, okay? Yeah, that's a human. It's a human. Stands probably about 5'10" or something like that. I never actually put down a height for him. So I see he's definitely shorter than Elara. About same as Elara, and he's not in great shape.
Is my scientist friend around?
I saw him, yes.
You see this scientist sort of poke his head round the door, this George McElroy with this crowbar still lodged very much in his hands. He's like, I would really appreciate it if someone told me what is happening.
Don't worry.
George, put the crowbar down. You look ridiculous.
Don't worry about it, mate.
He throws it.
You worry too much about why things are happening. You get all caught up in philosophy and stuff. Better to just have a beer. I've got spares. Do you two want a beer?
I'd love one.
I've been out of space! And George is having a breakdown as he sort of
throw Vega a beer straight away. It's, it's some old IPA or something. Cheers!
Cheers.
What?
So,
How are you so calm? Like, this guy is panicking.
Well, George, you do know I came from out here.
I didn't expect me to come out here. Wait, what?
Do you want to go back to where you were?
No.
We'll get you home if you want to, but I kind of want you to bear witness to this and see if you can piece together things that we may have talked about in the past. So, you can call me Alpha 88. Your name?
Alpha
I'll look at
88.
Blister.
Blister. You can call me Blister.
Blister, if you don't mind me asking, I know you said not to worry about things, but I came on the ship, and I saw something like a chamber with a name on it that rings a bell. Is there anybody here named Vega Reigns?
I don't know. We can ask. Argo!
And a scream comes down. What?
You got
I've
it?
done so much today already. Gosh.
Oh, you just shut up. But,
Don't tell me to shut up. I'm the AI. I could switch off your oxygen.
you could, but I'd just go and switch it back on again.
He sort of grumbles like, maybe I switched the buttons around.
You don't have physical components.
I am the physical component. And he sort of looks at you.
Anyway, have we got a Vega Reigns on board?
And Argo pauses like, hang on. And he pulls up this digital clipboard and starts flicking through paper. Not that I'm aware of or have had in any of my backup data. As I said, I delete it regularly. I need to now reinstall Andii. Do you know how long that process is? I'm gonna have to go through medbay.
Reinstall. They're not a piece of software.
You'd reinstall me, wouldn't you?
Oh, this is about to get very actual. Do what you like,
George.
Argo.
George, can you bring me back? Do you mind, Blister? Was it? If George shows you what I was talking about, I don't know if I can make my way back there from here.
I can show him.
Well, Blister, with your permission, of course, it's your ship.
Yeah, no, by all means. And you say it's my ship. It's more Elara and Telemachus's ship, really. I just looked after it whilst they were all asleep.
Should we ask permission from them?
No, I'd be alright.
You have authority. Okay, excellent. We don't want to intrude. George, please.
Right. And George, like in his lab coat, in his little sort of like knitted tank top with a button-up shirt and a bow tie, decides like, okay, I can do that, and starts walking back towards the cryo chambers. And so, Andii and Elara. Oh, my cat is digging up the floor. Get out if you're gonna like go. There we go. Sorry. And Andii, Elara, you're there, and you see Telemachus rush into the lab that you know well, both of you, and you can see the lab is still pretty clean. There's a lot of stuff. It's like tests have been running the entire time. And then you sort of look,
I was just hanging out in here for a bit, you know.
And there's all these contraptions everywhere and all these bits and bobs that have been fiddled with, created. And you see a glass tube with one of these creatures' hands at the center, holds it just sort of suspended, not in water or anything this time. It's almost like lasers holding it in place.
Well, you're all always consistent with up to something. Now, I know you're not my Telemachus.
I kind of am.
Well, roundabout way. What's the story?
And she sort of pauses. And she looks embarrassed.
I don't know.
And she never says that. She never doesn't know. She genuinely looks embarrassed because she doesn't.
I'd be like scooping her up, just like drawing her close and just giving her a hug.
Yeah. She sort of hugs you back. And she's like,
I really don't know. I woke up in Area 51.
All right. Then we're going to figure this out together. Okay.
Did you see the hand though? It's pretty neat.
and she definitely looks over at Andie for this, hearing that she said there wasn't like a specimen left.
Andy was trying to be polite and like letting you have your conversation, but she was already sneaking over to the hand to start looking at it.
Yeah. It's just like,
I
Can't
don't
believe
really
you got a sample.
Yeah, this was actually from a different one.
That's still great. We could definitely do some tests. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Well, I heard the scientists call them husks.
Oh, what an interesting name. I wonder if they have any special features that relate to that.
While they're doing this, Elara would hit the side of her helmet and just basically shoot a message to Blister to tell him to get to Telemachus's lab.
I would, I mean, he's away, but I'd convey that to Vega and George. Oh, we just need to stop by the lab on the way back. Oh, my voice is going real croaky right now. Give me a sec.
That's the whiskey. George is sort of like, he takes you down to the cryo chambers in the bay, and you can see some with a lot of empty beer bottles in it, definitely from when you last were using these as like fridges and stuff like that. There are no crew members in this anymore. There are none at all. And at the very end, you do find one that says Vega Reigns. Very much like next to the names of the other people you do recognize. You even see Telemachus's one that was there, and Elara's from when you woke up Elara. But there is one that says Vega Reigns. And George is just like, there. Yeah, that's what you wanted me to show you, right?
All right, yeah.
Yes.
Look, these are cryo chambers. We were like a freighter or junker, but we did like transport on the side. Something went wrong at some point. I don't really remember what, but I'm fairly sure it wasn't my fault. People started waking up at random times when we weren't going to get to our destination. You can wake people up at any time, really. You just press 222 full power.
You know, I've got... Yeah. And he sort of stops and has a think.
Just
And
like the
then
microwave.
Yeah. Just like a microwave. And he sort of pauses, thinking about what you've just said. And you look at him, and he's in like his corduroy trousers, his brown corduroy trousers, his very brown caramel colored knitted vest, bow tie, and shirt with sleeves rolled up, and a lab coat over the side of it. And he's like, do you have room for another scientist, maybe? Or a scientist? I haven't really got anywhere to go after this.
Funny, actually, I just received a summons to the labs from Elara, so I guess you'll find out.
Then I'm George McElroy, and he forgets that he's already been introduced, but holds his hand out with like his palm out.
Yeah, alright, hang on.
Thank you. Yeah. What was your name again?
Blister.
I'm a bit nervous. Blister. Okay.
But you can call me Susan if it makes you happy, really.
Would you prefer to be called Susan?
No, I'm just saying you can call me whatever you like.
Okay. How strange. And he starts walking back out of the cryo chamber room. And you can head towards the lab, where you see Andii, Elara, and Telemachus. What is Vega doing right now?
So as Blister leads us towards the lab, I'm gonna grab George and pull him back.
Yeah, he's like, oh!
I'm gonna whisper. I am Alpha 88 until we figure out what's going on. To make myself clear.
I figured as much.
Good. Thank you, George.
Yeah, like, and you slap him hard on the back, and he's like, okay, and starts walking, and he sort of follows you. Are you following to the lab, or are you going anywhere else?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow the lab.
Okay, you can follow to the lab, and you can all congregate in this lab, and you see this hand, and how it is explained to you that it is from one of these creatures that you saw at Area 51, one of these husks, as it were. What would you like to do?
Well, Elara would probably, seeing the two new people coming in, and in fairness, I should probably describe her. So walking into the lab, you'd see Elara, and she stands same height as Blister, but she's wearing these knee-high white go-go boots and this black mod mini skirt. And on her head is what looks like a wide headband, but there's a visor down in front of it with like a red sheen to it. And she's looking over Telemachus and Andii chatting away, and she'll look up at the three of you coming in and sort of arch a brow. So we have an extra two then.
George waves.
I mean, we've got the room.
You're not wrong.
Have an extra two for what?
The journey.
What's the
I'm
best?
Lieutenant Commander Elara Gibbous, and you are?
I am Alpha 88. I was a
88.
test pilot at Area 51.
Thank you for your assistance back there.
You have a nice ship here.
We do.
I was going to say George and Blister looking around like...
And then
I'll turn
Go ahead.
to and be like, who might you be?
Oh, are you talking to me? Hi, I'm Andii, and sometimes I do medical work here, but also sometimes there's just cool stuff. So, like this?
Points to the like clawed hand.
Yeah, this is thing, and the fingers are very long. They sort of reach up into the top.
And there's one other person in the room.
You've got the little Telemachus, who is about 7 years old. She has got big, bushy, blonde, curly hair, which is definitely jammed under a bobble hat as she sits in a white long-sleeve t-shirt and dungarees, and she walks straight up to you, hand out,
Hi, I'm Telemachus.
Alpha 88. Nice to meet you, Telemachus.
Nice to meet you.
and she sort of gives you a salute and goes back to looking at this hand. And you can see this child knows what she's doing. She is on every single screen. She is reading everything. She's showing Andii things excitedly here and there. And soon after sort of being down here, Argo pops up. He's like, right, just so you got a heads up, we're about to go through a warp in space.
How soon is soon, Argo?
As you say that, you feel a jolt, and all around the ship, through all the windows, there's a lot of windows in this sort of this lab slash med bay, as it's almost like a purple ripple passes the windows as you shoot forward. You feel this sensation like you're being thrown forwards, but you stand perfectly still as you move with Argo, with the ship through this. And it's a strange sensation, like you're going so fast, and then it just stops, and you're out in space again. And Argo looks at all of you, and then back to Elara. About now.
Thanks. Again, we'll work on your timing. And she'll turn towards, she's going to start calling you 88. Like I said, welcome aboard. Argo?
There's no Vega Rains on board of the ship.
Not that I've met or know of.
How long have you owned this ship? Or been part of this ship or crew?
Which timeline do you want?
That's a good answer.
Fine. Forgive me. You might have just answered my question. Which timeline do you want? So, my name is Vega Rains.
Interesting.
George is like, thinking he was supposed to keep the secret. Almost drops a petri dish that he's looking at.
Well, Vega.
My surprise when I came on your ship and I was shown that and felt the obsessive need to get off of it as soon as possible to figure out who all you were.
Well, let me tell you, it's better to look into an empty chamber than to see yourself in incubation.
That was kind of trippy.
But I've never been here before, and none of you have ever seen me here before.
That doesn't matter. Things have a way of working themselves out.
Now... No, it's alright. Don't worry about it.
So you're all just a bunch of go with the flow and things will work itself out situation, huh?
Well, you can certainly fight it, but half the time you're going to end up doing what you're supposed to do anyways. Sometimes it's just easier to see where it takes you.
We kind of had a 10-year break. We kind of saved the universe, maybe. And then we tried to hide on Earth. We had a good run. What, 10 years?
Yeah, that was actually quite impressive. You should give yourself some credit for that.
Well, I don't know if this was the bus ride I was waiting for, but I know I had to get out of Area 51 because that was no longer where I needed to be, so we'll see if things have a way of working themselves out.
And as you say this, Argo drifts as it goes on its way, as it always does. And out of the window, you start to see something encroach. It's just there, drifting through space. Almost like a huge sea of bones. And there is a huge skeleton-like head sat just in space with the rib cage, the spine, everything there. This huge skeletal creature like nothing you've ever seen before. Metal, lights, pods, and everything mechanical integrated into this skeleton, almost creating a city built on this creature that could maybe be decades old. And sat on the windowsill are wizmos, and one at the far right is currently wiggling its hips next to the Elvis doll as you go through. And that is where we'll leave Argo 37 premiere episode this week.
So good! Oh my god. I love those wizmos.
Thank you so much for the raids and follows at the end there, everyone. We appreciate you so much. I'm sorry my camera's not in sync with me. I'll try and fix it between shows. What a show, Alice.
Yeah.
Alice, so good. Oh my god.
So glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you for chasing me with monsters again.
I thought you missed it.
I missed it. It's familiar. This is great. This is how it should be. Yep, we're good. I feel like this is
Like, oh, this is familiar.
this is home.
Well,
we're good. Yep.
Let's fly around at the end then. Let's talk to everyone. Let's see what your favorite part was, who you are online, and then we'll wrap. So let's go the other way around this time and start with Jess.
Oh, hi. I'm Jess. I didn't think I loved being chased by monsters, but apparently I like it when Alice does it. My favorite moment was definitely between either Telemachus, I totally thought I was in trouble when someone had me, but it was Telemachus. So really I was saved. And just the description of like the nails coming through the glass and starting to I love it. It's so good. But thanks so much. I'm so excited to play this game with you guys. Oh my gosh. And yeah, you can find me all the places at go_JG, doing so much stuff. Have like a Genesis campaign going, a Spire campaign going on my channel. We have a Ryutama one-shot, a special one happening this weekend, and we're doing a little mini series of Good Society, like lots of different things. So yay.
Fantastic, thank you. Next round we have Todd at Crusade Warlords.
Oh, hello. So, it was great. I loved it. I think my favorite was meeting the Wizmo and having a little Wizmo friend. So I'm kind of excited to see how that works out. And you know, I think just all of them running through the halls being chased by monsters was pretty cool. The car pretty much driving itself, so Scratticus couldn't crash it, was pretty classic. Well, yeah, so V also. So I don't know, I just loved it all. I thought it was great. It was a great first episode for me to be on board. I really appreciate being here. I enjoyed myself. I hope you all enjoyed me. I enjoyed all of you. That's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you. And next around the screen, we have Elara! V!
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh my god, I'm so glad to be doing this again. I just love the whole thing, Argo. Quite frankly, my favorite part was like this whole thing of like the little blips and pieces coming back again. It was just like, yes, that, yes, that, yes, that. Okay, that too. It was just like, it's like family reunion mode. It's wonderful. But I think favorite part would probably be Elara going back into protective mode. And when Vega's like, you're following me, she's like, nope, you're following us. Because that's like, I remember her now. This is just so wonderful. This is just like, I'm going to be grinning all day. But I'm Beyond the Crafting Muse. You can find me over on YouTube where I show you how to paint miniatures and make miniature terrain and game accessories. Also very active here on the Scratticus Academy doing Dunera on Monday nights, and obviously here right now. You can find me on Mini Terrain Domain on Thursday evenings and over on Cobalt Press as DM for the last air game that is going on right now. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till next Thursday already.
Same here. Playing Blister again was just like putting on a comfortable shoe. You know, like that really comfortable walking boot that you just know straight away. Fantastic. Favorite moment? Yeah, the whole fight thing, I guess. Like just Blister being rolling a 0 on spirit weapon damage. That's got to be a favorite moment. Yeah, I've got you now. Oh no. Alice.
You hit as well.
I did. I hit it. Alice, how about you, baby?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Alice. I'm also White Rabbit Pick on Twitter. I am a GM for this channel as well as a player. You will actually see me DM again later as we do our Dragon Age campaign, Rise of the Wardens. I love this game, and it's so good to be back in this universe and play Telemachus again, because I adore Telemachus and I adore wizmos. Everyone knows I love wizmos. I love that Vega now effectively has a wizmo, an Elvis Presley wizmo. I loved the whole Vega in like a fighter pilot ship taking out those creatures as they came in. I love Andii sneaking around the labs and rolling like a nat 20 on an escape, because it was just, I'm so done. Like the dice really told the story of I'm out. And just have Blister and Elara again and doing all their stuff and their shenanigans, and I can't wait for next week. So yeah. Otherwise, we'll be back later, as I said, with some more streams. Please check out the chat now as all of our links come up. A huge thank you to our wonderful sponsors in the form of Bird and the Storm, and also Mage Chan Press, who created this Dark Matter D&D 5e adaptation for it all. So please go check them out. Wizmos are a real thing. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week for more shenanigans, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, and we hope to see you joining us in the Discord channel where we'll be talking about this campaign. Till next time, everyone, keep on evoking emotions. We'll be live next on Sheepdog's channel at 7 p.m, so I'll see you then. Bye!